It's Victory Monday, and we've got a lot to talk about. 10-2, 9 in a row. Tough to believe. Did not think we'd be sitting right here, but here we are. About 30 seconds, we're going to start breaking it all down. This is the DNVR Broncos Podcast, presented by our friends over at Bet365. Sign up for Bet365. Use our code DNVR365. Deposit $10, make a $5 bet. You'll get $150 in free bonus bets. It's an awesome deal. We're in the Toyota Lounge. I'm Henry Chisholm, and I've got Super Bowl 50 champion Bennie Fowler. How's it going, Bennie?
It's going well. I'm going to give you my Victory Monday.
That's a good one.
That's how Zach would say it right there. That's how he would say it. It's Victory Monday for the Broncos, bro. I'm doing really well.
We were recording the ads, and one of our new partners, you guys are going to hear all about, Aura Frames. And it's been on Oprah's list of like best gifts or something for 3 straight years. And I see Oprah, and the first thing I think of is like once a week, Zach will do the, you get us something, you get us something. Yeah, so it'll be like you get the win, you get a win, you get a win. It's like, oh, yeah.
Broncos are getting wins.
They are getting wins.
9 in a row.
9 in a row.
9 in a row, man.
It's really crazy. The first team in NFL history to win 9 consecutive games and be trailing in all 9 of those games.
Wow.
Which is why there's a lot of conversation about how
Broncos
good these
got
Broncos
lightning
are.
in a bottle, man.
They do.
They got lightning in a bottle, and you got to ride the momentum. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're winning these games. They're winning them in all different ways. Bo Nix over 300 yards passing. We talked about that in the pregame show.
We did.
And I don't know if I said it. I didn't say it convincingly, like, hey, Bo could go over 300, but that might be a nice bet.
Yeah.
In terms of the odds, and it was. And Bo goes over 300 yards with a nice win in overtime on Sunday Night Football. Evan Ingram sighting, Joker sighting, things like that. There were a lot of positives, I believe. When you look at the records, you want to blow that team out.
You do.
You want to beat them convincingly, like 10 or more points you want to beat them by.
That's what the Chiefs did.
But when you look back at the game and you rewatch the game, there are so many different positive things that came out of that game, especially offensively. So I feel pretty good after this 9-game winning streak, Sunday Night Football, and another convincing win, tight-knit win, overtime win. Love it.
It's why it kind of stinks to play bad football teams, because sometimes a win doesn't feel like a win. Mm-hmm. You want more than just a win. You want to feel like you were as dominant as you expected to be. Like expectations just become so high. Whereas, let's say you get the Raiders this week. The next week you play the Packers. Packers are a good football team. One of the few teams with better odds to win the Super Bowl than the Broncos. One of those 4 teams. It's a small group. If you just beat the Packers, it doesn't matter how. You're going to leave that game feeling really good. But when you play a team like the Commanders, expectations just become probably different than they should be. Because you're on the road on Sunday Night Football, both teams coming off a bye. Like, it's tough to win games in the NFL. It's also really tough to win road games in the NFL in particular. Just to pick up a road win in any way, you have to just be happy with it.
Yeah, I think a road win going across the country, Sunday Night Football, not great weather conditions. Mm-hmm. Also, I think we talked about this on the post-game show. A lot of people think that you should handily beat the Commanders, but if you actually look at their roster, they got a pretty decent roster. They got some really good players over there. Now, they've lost a lot of games this year because of injuries to, number one, their starting quarterback. Also, Terry McLaurin, one of their top receivers. I think he's missed 6 or 7 games this year. So they've missed a significant amount of their talent in these games. But Terry McLaurin was out there yesterday. Jaden Daniels wasn't out there, but Marcus Mariota, number 2 overall pick, very talented. Still not necessarily the best passer, but is elite with his escapability in the way he runs the ball as a quarterback. I mean, for one of the most exciting plays or crazy plays that you saw last night was the Marcus Mariota escape the Nick Bonito sack and throw the ball and get the pass interference call, which Hufanga got called for the pass interference. So they have Von Miller, Hall of Famer over there, Bobby Wagner, Hall of Famer over there. They got some decent talent in the secondary. Zach Ertz, I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer, but really good tight end. They are very talented on that side of the ball. They also played extremely hard, and they're extremely well coached. I thought Dan Quinn, great coach. Always, him and Sean Payton have had battles just from their NFC South days. And then also Cliff Kingsbury, who coached Jaden Daniels to the Rookie of the Year, called some great plays yesterday and schemed up some great things after 2 weeks off. They also had 2 weeks off to scheme up for the Broncos. So, yes, the Commanders are 3-8 now, 3-9. But they still have a tremendous amount of talent over there, and I don't think that should be understated. That the Broncos, went in there and they handled business.
Yep, and I like what you brought up with the coaching too, because I think specifically that offensive game plan that they had, and just the patience that they had was really impressive. Because early on, those first couple of drives where they really got rolling, they're not hitting you over the top, and they're rarely trying to hit you over the top. They're finding ways to run for 4 or 5 yards. Occasionally, they break a couple tackles and they get a decent gain in there. But overall, I mean, Chris Rodriguez, their lead running back, 3.7 yards per carry on 11 carries. Jeremy McNichols had 6 carries, the second most, had 5 yards per carry. Like, there's nothing crazy going on in that run game. Yeah. It's just enough to keep you on schedule. The passing game, understanding the coverage you're getting, beating man coverage by setting a little bit of a pick, hitting a receiver in the flat, especially like when he has leverage. Zach Ertz, you get him with a little bit of leverage because he's lined up on the edge, linebackers line up a little inside, just hit him in the flat, let him go get his 5-6 yards over and over and over. And I think that's sometimes modern NFL defense. Sit back a little bit, make sure there's no big plays. If they're going to go score a touchdown, it's going to take a long time to get down the field, and we're going to really put the clamps on in the red zone when there's less field to defend. Like, there was just a level of patience and consistency with that offense, and also understanding who your weapons are. Yep. I think that's the big thing with getting Terry McLaurin back is when you throw the football, who are you throwing it to? It's Zach Ertz, it's Terry McLaurin, and it's Deebo Samuel. And there is no need to throw the ball to anybody else because the rest of the guys, I mean, who else got catches? John Bates, Traylon Burks. We don't need to dig too deep into that one. And Colson Yankoff, like guys we've never heard of. And so what do? 10 catches for 106 for Ertz, 7 catches for 96 for McLaurin, 5 catches for 64 for Deebo. And I think Deebo and Terry each had like a longer one, but for the most part, it's just working them underneath and playing clean football, like going out there and executing.
Do you, just from watching this game yesterday, how do you think about the Broncos and them playing scrambling quarterbacks later on in the season and then in the playoffs? Because that was the one thing that it doesn't concern me, but I think is something to be watching out for, especially in the playoffs, is quarterbacks who can keep the play alive, scramble drill alive. Because Mariota, I think, was able to extend drives yesterday because he was able to scramble for a first down, keeps the defense on the field, gets them a little tired. So that's the one thing. How do you think that translates later on into the season? 5 games left. Who they're playing next? Geno, not really a scrambler. Nope. Then who do you have after that? You got Jordan Love.
And then
can
Trevor
extend
Lawrence.
the play. Can extend the play, but I don't think they really want to. They also don't have the speed that Mariota has. Then you have to play Patrick Mahomes again. Can extend the play.
And then Herbert,
he's hurt though. I mean,
right. Is he at that point, is he worried about taking hits?
For sure.
It's because like early in the season was when he turned into a runner for the first time in his career. Yeah. I think it's kind of interesting. You look at the games where they've given up the most passing yards. So the only time they've given up 300 this year was the Colts game. Daniel Jones, athlete.
Yeah.
Then second most passing yards they've allowed last night, Marcus Mariota, athlete. Then you hit the Chargers. Remember, beginning of the year, at that point, that's Justin Herbert, the runner. Again, maybe not quite to those guys' level, but still falls somewhat in that category. Yeah. And then number 4 is the Giants. Jackson Dart. Number 5, actually, Jalen Hurts. And then you get to Mahomes, where it's somewhere in between. Then you get to Dak, who he's not. Then the CJ Stroud, Davis Mills combination, they're not runners. Then you get to Geno, not a runner. Then you get to the Bengals with Jake Browning at the time.
Jake Browning
not a runner. And then you get down to the Titans, who just suck. So, I mean, there is a very clear difference. It's just the passing yards allowed for the Broncos is nearly just a ranking of how athletic the quarterbacks are all the way down. And also you have that Jets game at the bottom with Justin Fields. But we'll put that in its own box.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know if concerned is the word, because I think that this is a really good defense, and I think that they're going to find answers. But I do think that they need to find that answer, because last night in particular, it was the athleticism that got them, his ability to evade sacks, which the Broncos could have had a lot more sacks than they had last night if not for the athleticism. I think that is what really hurt them. It hurts when Mariota also gives you the 50 rushing yards, but it's the inability to create the negative plays that I think stings a little bit more than the positive plays he gives you.
Who would the Broncos be playing in the playoffs right now?
Oh, boy. 7 seed.
AFC.
That's a tough one. Well, you find that the other thing with the Commanders was it's the combination of that and that quick passing game. And so when you have the quick passing game that makes you think like, oh, we can't send all these rushers because there's no point. We're just wasting defenders because they're getting the ball out so quick, and he's escaping the sacks. You got to find some answer there.
Broncos get the bye right now because they have the number 1 seed.
And if the
Patriots
Giants win tonight,
well, if the Patriots win tonight, then what? Do the Broncos go back down to the 2 seed, or they still got the 1?
If Patriots win, Patriots would then be 11-2 and pass the Broncos.
Okay. So the Broncos would have to play the Bills week 1 or
Athlete.
week 1 of the playoffs. That's athlete.
It helps that you're in Denver.
For sure.
That can be overrated. Again, like 4 of the 5 games they've given up the most passing yards have been on the road. The only one that wasn't was the Giants game.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see, because there is something that's missing there. And maybe it is just finishing tackles. You see Benito not quite finish a couple of those.
I saw the tweet that Zach was talking about. He hates playing with the cast.
Yeah. It's like, does he just get those sacks if he has his hand, his second hand to bring a guy down? Potentially.
Yeah.
And
Mariota's an elite athlete, though. An elite. What he does or how he can run the ball, I mean, he's got track speed.
He does.
Still,
absolutely.
The way he was running away from people last night.
It was unbelievable. The one time Q Robinson's like chasing him from behind and is like keeping up and kind of corralling him so another defender can get in there. You're like, wait, he did it. Like, look how fast Q looks, because he's just as fast as Mariota, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
They're also rotating defenders a lot, especially those edge rushers. We're seeing a lot of Dondre Tillman, seeing a lot of Q Robinson, which is cool and it's good and it's going to pay off in the long run, because
I think
you're
that's a
putting
positive.
less of a workload on Benito and Cooper. As you get into the playoffs, like if you're playing the Bills in the first round of the playoffs this week, you're probably seeing a little bit more Benito and a little bit more Cooper and a little bit less of those guys, which probably helps that pass rush out a bit. You're also getting Jonah Ellis back from injury potentially as soon as this week.
Yeah.
So that could change things as well.
I wouldn't say they've missed him tremendously, but I think that will just be a great addition to add back into the lineup. Jonah Ellis is just a great football player, great pass rush. Gives me Shaquille Barrett vibes in terms of just like he's inserted into the lineup.
For some reason, he gets back there whenever you put him in. Yeah.
He's inserted into the lineup and then makes plays.
Yep.
So you love to see that.
Right. One more thing. You brought up Evan Ingram, and that has been lingering on my mind a lot, because we saw some things from Evan Ingram last night that we haven't seen often this year, which is really exciting. Obviously, going out there, just shaking Bobby Wagner out of his shoes, making the catch, getting downfield late in the game. That's the play where you go like, oh yeah, this is special. But so I've been trying to figure out, try to do like a video once a week, like a breakdown of something. And this week it might be Evan Ingram. Fun stat. Each of the last 3 teams who won the Super Bowl, leading receiver in the playoff run, a tight end. Helps that 2 of them are Travis Kelce and the other one last year is Dallas Goedert. Kind of skews things. I haven't decided how much stock I put in that. But I think
Evan
there's
has that
something
type of
there.
ability.
I think there's something there. And you could look at it as, okay, you bring in JK, and one of the things that we said is, yeah, he might get hurt, but can he get you off the ground? Can he get you going early in the season? And now it really stings to not have JK at this point. But at the time, that's what you're saying. Could Evan Ingram be somewhat of that closer? Do you start finding ways? That's a manufactured one-on-one. Like that was out of empty, I believe. And so they spread everybody out. They create that matchup with the linebacker. That's a matchup he's just going to win.
Yep.
Do you start as this season kind of winds down and you get in the playoffs, start to see more of these designs for Evan? I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't either. I think the playbook is now officially all the way open. I think when you lose a guy like JK, you have to find another way to create explosives and to move the chains. And I thought that Sean did an incredible job of finding matchups against the Commanders, and Evan did a great job of just getting open. I mean, there were plenty of opportunities. He should have had 9 catches. I think he put the ball on the ground a couple of times. But this is now your best matchup in all the games going forward, and that includes the playoffs. There's nobody out there who can guard this guy one-on-one. No linebacker. He's too fast for a linebacker. He's too big for a safety, too big for your nickel corner. So Evan right now, I think, is now that the Joker card is now being played. For the next 6 weeks, next 5 weeks, including the playoffs, Sean Payton will be playing that Joker card because you saw the ability. I mean, even the juke route that he ran in overtime, great route, but it was the yards after catch for me. You know, that was a 5-yard catch that, you know, he had 37 yards after the catch. So I think that is now the card you play going forward. I think that's, start playing your Joker card.
I think it could solve the offense. We're going to dig into this a little bit more on the other side. Real quick, though, want to give a shout-out to our friends. Aura Frames. I believe this is the first time we've gotten to tell you guys about Aura Frames, but you really should go check their products out. Essentially, they're picture frames, but they show you either a slideshow of pictures or videos or whatever it could be. It looks a lot like Harry Potter. Honestly, it's a little bit freaky because I've seen these things. I feel like a decade ago, this sort of thing started to exist. And you're like, oh, okay, whatever. These ones just look like really nice frames that you can hang on a wall or put wherever you want to put them. And the quality is so good. And the picture is so smooth and clear. They look like they're real pictures. And then again, like, depending on what you want to upload, it's all just through an app. So you can put a whole bunch of pictures in there. They'll rotate through. You can change the settings for how they rotate. You can put video in there. It's all sorts of really cool stuff, and a great, great gift. And if you want to give that gift for a limited time, you can save on it by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver mat frames. They're named #1 by Wirecutter by using the promo code DNVR at checkout. That's auraframes.com. Promo code DNVR. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast, so order yours now. Get it in time for the holidays, and support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Also, want to give a shout-out to our friends over at Ent Credit Union, who just today are launching this new Pat Surtain card. I hope you can see it. I don't know if it's like 8-bit or 16-bit or 64-bit, but something with like the pixelated, really cool throwback uniforms. I love this card. Also, I think RK said last night, but Yaya just signed up for the Broncos checking account and did it before the PS2 card. He got just like this Broncos logo card that's super sharp. All sorts of cool stuff. And, you know, there's all the perks we've been telling you about with that Broncos checking account, discounts on game days. You get the cool card. You get chances to win free tickets depending on how many times you swipe the card. But also right now, you can just get $200 for free. They just drop the $200 right into your account after you meet a couple of requirements. Super easy. So with the playoff push heating up, now's the time to lock it down. The perks, the card, the $200. If you're ready to bank like a Bronco, head over to ent.com/DNVR. Insured by NCUA. Membership required. Account requires Associate Ent Broncos debit card. Requires a $100 deposit and activation debit card within 30 days of account opening. All right, back in the DNVR Broncos podcast, presented by our friends over at Bet365. Also, we've got a little Cyber Monday sale for those of you who want to get in on the website.
Let's go.
What did I just write last week that I thought was really good? Oh, there was like a little film breakdown of Luke Wattenberg. you don't get a lot of offensive line film breakdowns. And I think that, especially for Broncos fans, knowing what's up with the center you just gave 4 years and $48 million to, it's good stuff. So there's like a dozen clips in there. If Cliff's notes, very athletic, helps create explosive runs. Not like the strongest anchor in terms of an offensive lineman, but who does that show up against? You can go look. There's some fun stuff in there. So go sign up. Cyber Monday sale.
Sign up, baby. Let's go.
All right. I want to talk about peaking too soon in the NFL because it's something you hear about a lot at this point. And I think it happens often. I think there are a lot of teams that you look at and say they did peak too soon. I almost wonder if we start talking about the Rams in that way. Whoa. I mean, but think about what the Rams were a month ago. Like, you're just expecting 40 every night. It's just like that is what they're going to do. They're unstoppable. And they're still a really good football team. I just don't know if they're that. I'm trying to think, are there other examples at this moment?
I would say a team that has peaked too early right now that we can actually talk about is the Indianapolis Colts.
Right. Yes, there's a great one.
Yes, they were the number 1 seed for, the first 8 weeks. Now injuries are starting to play a part. Mm-hmm. Now the schedule is getting tougher for them.
Yep.
They didn't have much adversity early on in the season, and now they're starting to play in these tight games, and they're not able to finish these games. So I think they peaked too soon. Jonathan Taylor was in the MVP conversation, was playing incredible. Daniel Jones was in the MVP conversation in the first 6 or 7 weeks. Now his play has gone down a little bit. So I would say the Indianapolis Colts
happens to the Ravens a lot too.
Peaking too early?
Yeah. Maybe not this year, but in the past.
Yeah, maybe they're going back to...
Interesting.
Or not going back, but now they aren't peaking too early.
Right.
Maybe they'll be picking at the right time.
Go with the slope instead of just like, look, we're unstoppable. Look at all these things that we can do. Because that's, I think the Colts are the perfect example because they played a card and built an offense around like, we're going to run the football. Because of that, we're going to suck you all into the box, and that's going to open up some one-on-ones down the field, which for Daniel Jones, you create one-on-ones, he's going to find ways to complete those passes, especially with those receivers. But it does feel like there was nowhere for them to evolve from there. Like they kind of threw out, here's what we are, and then didn't really have counters, which can cause obvious issues when teams start to figure it out.
Did the Lions peak too early?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. But I think in the past they have. I think in the past they've been a team where in the regular season you look and say they're unstoppable. I think maybe some injuries play into that. I think this year, like Packers had a couple injuries, like Tucker Kraft. Because a month ago they looked unstoppable too. Because they're hitting you in the passing game in every level. They're running the ball. The defense looks awesome. But then all of a sudden you lose Tucker Kraft, who kind of bridges the deep passing with the intermediate passing. Is a great blocker. You get all the play action stuff with him. And 100-yard per game tight end, you lose him, you're not the same offense. But again, that's not like losing your peak as much as just like a guy got hurt.
Buffalo, did they peak too early? I think they started off, 6-0 or?
Right.
Now they're like 7-4.
Point is, there are a lot of teams that peak too soon, especially in the NFL, more so I think than in a lot of other sports. And I want to know where you think the Broncos fit into that conversation. Have we seen their peak yet?
I don't think we've seen the Broncos peak yet, just based off of the fact that they haven't put a solid 4 quarters together of offense, defense, and special teams completely playing to the best of their ability. I think we've seen other NFL teams put together complete games. When you think about the Rams, we've seen them put together a complete game. Philadelphia Eagles this year, we've seen them put together a complete game. Chiefs, I don't know if we've seen them put together a complete game, but we've seen them do it in the past. The Colts have put together some complete games. The Broncos, I think, are getting ready to peak at the right time. I think they've won a lot of close games, obviously, a lot of one-score games. They found different ways to win games, but offensively, I thought the last couple of weeks they've gotten better, and I think they're trending in the right direction. I think Evan Ingram and the way he played yesterday is going to unlock this offense even more. I think there should be more ways and try to find more ways to get him the ball because I think his skill set and ability unlocks this offense. Evan Ingram and what he can do, yards after the catch, creating separation, can take this offense to another level. And we talked about it during the ad break. When you lose a guy like a J.K. Dobbins, you have to find ways to continue to move the chains. And Evan Ingram is going to be that guy going forward. Troy Franklin didn't get a crazy amount of targets yesterday. I think those went to Evan. You still want to see, obviously, Troy get some targets and continue to make plays because of his dynamic skill set. But when you have Evan out there, there's this offense can do some incredible things. So
right. And I think Evan is the reason there might just be one more evolution of this offense. Or who knows, maybe even there's one more after that.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of the next one. In terms of peak, if you want to make the case that they peaked too soon, the Cowboys game was a really great game.
Yeah.
They threw the ball well. They ran the ball well. That defense was really good.
And the Cowboys defense sucked at that point, though. I'd be curious to see how the Broncos would play against this new defense that they have.
True.
They got some injuries.
They can stop the run now.
Yeah, exactly. They got some real players up there. So I think it would be a little bit different. I still think the Broncos would win just based off of how the defense played and shut Dallas's offense down. But I think that would be a different game.
Right. And if you want to go kind of the other extreme, instead of beating up on a bad team, right before the bye, they beat the Chiefs. And they played pretty well. Again, some holes with the run game. Weren't really able to get that figured out. But I kind of agree. I don't think we've seen their best yet. And I don't even know that there's a strong case that they have peaked yet, which I think is a really good sign for a team that's sitting at 10-2. It's easy to say, like, okay, they're doing it, but they aren't playing great football, and eventually it's going to catch up to them. The converse, though, and the way that I think I see it is they have one more evolution in them, maybe two more, especially on this offense.
I was going to ask you, what do you think
so that they can level up? So the next one I think we've kind of found is Evan Ingram. Yeah. He has his best game as a Bronco. I believe the first time he surpassed 50 receiving yards. First time over 50. His previous best, he had back-to-back games of 42 against the Jets and Giants. 6 catches for 79 yards. And again, the drops are a thing because I know there are probably a lot of people out there screaming drops, drops, drops. And I would imagine he probably still is leading all tight ends in drops. It's tough to imagine
it's going to happen. We've talked about this. I think I shared that right when he first signed. Evan is going to drop some easy ones and he's going to make some crazy ones. So
totally,
you live with that.
And it's not like there's a drop in every game. I think by the numbers, it's more than there aren't drops in. But again, like if he just happens to not drop one in an AFC Championship game, that would be a good game to like just get a little lucky with the hands.
If he drops it in the first quarter instead of the fourth.
Yeah, exactly. That has been kind of a trend for him too. A little bit of a slow start with those hands. But I do think that this next step is, okay, we're going to isolate Evan Ingram. We're going to find ways. We've seen Bo work really well out of the shotgun. We've seen him work really well out of empty. And now we can get opportunities to use those to create matchups for him where he's lined up against a linebacker. And if we create enough space, it's probably zone coverage, of course, but we can create enough space that he can work in those parts of the field. I do think that's the next step. And I think the final step has to be something with the run game. Like you do have to find something there, but I wonder if you can almost overcorrect from losing JK and become kind of this pass-heavy team. You see Bo throw for, 320, 330?
321.
321 last night. Now all of a sudden you do this again against the Raiders. Do the Packers start thinking like, okay, this is a team who can win through the air, and it softens up the box a little bit, and that's how you can start running the football. I think there's a possibility that happens, but I think that might be what it takes is, okay, we are turning Evan Ingram into maybe our leading receiver the rest of the way, and that is going to be enough to turn these 3.8 yards per carry we can get on the ground into 4.4, which is enough to be sustainable.
I'd like to peak performance for me for the Broncos would look like the defense in pretty much any game that they've played this year.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, I like what they did yesterday. So it's a little bit of what they did yesterday, a little bit of what they did against the Cowboys. But I would like to see 5 less attempts. So I would like to see Bo go 29 for 40. Take off 50 yards of passing, and maybe he passes for 270, 275, and give that 50 yards to the rushing attack to where you have 150 to 160 yards rushing. I think that is what peak performance, and that's what a balanced offense can look like or should look like in these next 5 games, and then specifically in the playoffs. That's what I would love to see, and that's what peak performance would look like for me, with a couple of explosive returns by Marvin and RJ in the kickoff and punt return game, but they're not far off. And yeah, you want to be peaking in, I want to say, the last month of the season.
Definitely.
Get hot the last month of the season and then go on your run. I wish I could remember back to when it won't be this situation, obviously, because the Broncos will have the 1 or the 2 seed, but how Eli Manning was playing the 2 Super Bowl runs he had. Like, what did they look like in the last month of the season?
Because they only won like 9 games.
Yeah.
So you'd imagine those were coming toward the end before they got hot.
100%. And then they go on the road and they win these wild card games and go on to win 2 Super Bowls. So also, I guess the Eagles were hitting their stride later on in the season last year.
They started slow and then kind of built around that run game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess run game is the point of emphasis, like you said, for them to peak at the right time. We need over 120, 130 yards rushing. I think that's mandatory to go all the way.
Yep. And again, like, leading receiver for the Eagles in the playoffs wasn't A.J. Brown, wasn't Devontae Smith. It was Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
Your guys' leading receiver when you won the Super Bowl in the playoffs was Emmanuel Sanders. Second, Owen Daniels.
Makes sense.
Right. You would have thought Demarius, though.
They take DT. Well, who do we play? We played Pittsburgh.
Right.
They were playing a lot of shell to his side. Then we played New England. They doubled him. So though in the playoffs, it's all about who is your 2, your 3.
Right.
That's how you win the games. They're going to they're taking your number 1s and your 2s away pretty much, or definitely your number 1. They're taking somebody like A.J. Brown out of it. And I expect for the Broncos, they're taking Court out of it.
Yep.
They're going to try to double team him. Oh, that's Bo's safety blanket. So that's where you love to see what you're seeing out of Pat Bryant.
Yep.
What you're seeing out of Troy, and then Evan. Because there is no matchup for Evan.
No.
The rest of the season and in the playoffs. I don't think there's a matchup for him.
And if he can just win his blocks against corners and little safeties, all of a sudden the math just totally changes too. Those guys have been a little bit slippery for him, especially on the screens. But if he can start just bodying them up so that teams feel like they can't just go light, that would be big. One more thing. So we talked about Bo a little bit, but we didn't actually answer the headline, which we should do. After seeing last night, Bo Nix, is he ready for the postseason?
For sure.
You're right. Okay.
Bo Nix is definitely ready for the postseason, just based off of everything that he's gone through and the wins that he's led this season.
Yep.
The wins that Bo has this season, which is 10 of them, have come in a variety of different ways, where he's had to use his legs, where he's had to use his arm, where he's had to use his mind, where he's had to check in and out of plays. Bo's had to put the team on his back and make plays.
Yep.
And those are things that win in December, January, and in February. So Bo is definitely postseason ready. I think he's poised and calm. I think his situational awareness, clock management, and understanding of situations is also postseason ready.
Yep.
You have to be able to win end of half, end of game. Yep. Bo has done that. He did that last night. End of half, got points. End of game, overtime, got points, got touchdowns. That's a recipe for success in the postseason.
I like it.
I think that's my best take.
I think so too. You have me convinced. Because before I was thinking, I think you need to go through these evolutions. I think you need a stretch of football, a couple more weeks of football where you're heavy on the spread, you're a passing attack, and you just kind of carve them up. Like this week, Raiders, you go and do it. Packers next week, that pass rush, you got to get the ball out quick. But I think you spread them out, you get the ball quick. You get Bo through a couple more games where you're kind of high volume pass, which scares teams into thinking, okay, we have to respect this passing attack now and opens up the run. I just need to see him go and do that. I need to see just a couple more wins where it's like we're playing through Bo game. Not we're gonna run the ball, we're gonna run some play action, we'll spread them out occasionally, but I need to see a couple more where we're gonna spread them out because we know he has like some of the things that are tougher to get probably, which is winning games late, playing your best football at the most important times. But but I do think that this is a moment for the Broncos to spread things out, lean on Evan, and then there's room for one more evolution late in the season that you can hopefully just ride.
We got to run that ball.
We got to run that ball eventually. Real quick, before we get into the inside scoop, we're going to look through the tape a bit. Want to give a shout out to our friends over at Bet365. I'm a big fan of Bet365. Hit a little parlay over the weekend, so I'm feeling pretty good. Unfortunately, I went big on the Broncos spread last night because, they're playing the Commanders, and so you'd think that that'd be a pretty easy one. It is what it is, though. Still a big weekend. Can't complain about that. And now the Nuggets tonight. 11.5-point favorite. I think they cover, but I'm not quite willing to commit. And I'm not sure what to do about the Giants game either. Giants and Patriots. Obviously want the Giants to win for Broncos purposes. But also, could they, with 3-1 odds, is it worth giving them a shot? I kind of wish it was Jameis instead of Jackson Dart, as crazy as that sounds, but we're going to figure something out because there's always something over at Bet365. Whatever the sport you're looking for, Bet365 is the answer. New customers can now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. Sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5. Get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. So bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or somebody who has a gambling problem wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Also, shout out to our friends over at Shady Rays. It's crazy here. Like this morning driving in, it would be like 10:15 in the morning. And it's a cold day. Like, I'm not sure exactly how cold, but maybe it's in the 40s. So bright, though. As soon as you pull out of the garage, I don't know what it is about Colorado, but just the sun is so intense. Even in the winter, like, you just get the glare off of things. Just the low angles. Shady Rays are important. It's the first thing I do whenever I get in the car here. It's not like back in Montana where it's just dreary and gray most of the time. Super bright. Shady Rays. Great product. Polarized sunglasses, good looking, durable, very affordable. Like the combination is everything you could ask for. Also, if you lose them or break them, even on the first day, they'll send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip. They just replace it. So whether you're hiking, at concerts, on the boat, wherever, you have that insurance. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use code DNVR for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. All right, back into the DNVR Broncos podcast presented by Bet365. Reminder, Cyber Monday sale. We still got the website sale, so if you guys want to go get all sorts of gear, but obviously, 67% off. The lowest price we've ever had to become a diehard. You get all sorts of perks. The shirt, you can get the package with the hat. You also get access to everything we write, the stuff behind the paywall. It's awesome. Go check it out. And now check out something I'm really excited for because I haven't had a chance to go all the way back through all the tape because I was doing a little bit of the playoff tight end deep dive. But we got the inside scoop powered by Ent Credit Union. Bank like a Bronco. Go to ent.com/DNVR. That's ent.com/DNVR. Sign up for the Broncos checking today. Ent Credit Union, insured by NCUA. Membership required. APY, annual percentage yield. Account requires associate Ent Broncos debit card. All right, got Benny.
Well, we're diving into the inside scoop. I pointed out just some plays where I just thought he was very calm last night. Mm-hmm. I thought his feet were pretty good. I thought he made some tight window throws. And I thought this is the type of play that you can win playoff games with. And we're starting right here with a bunch formation right here. We have a little bit of a naked play action fake, but I love this play action fake right here. The defenders can't see. They cannot see where the ball is. So that's one of the most important things. Now, I'm not a quarterback. I've never had to handle the ball.
I did back in the day.
What were you taught?
I was great
in terms of the mesh point.
Oh boy, geez, going back to middle school. We did. It was 2 hands on the ball,
mm-hmm.
and then
Which Bo has
you have to
right
pull
there.
it out. Yeah, he does do 2 hands because sometimes you see like the hidden ball one hand, but no, I was told always have 2 hands on the ball, and you do the 2 hands in there, and then you pull it back, and then you turn.
Well, Bo's got that right here, and if you recall, 2 weeks ago against Kansas City, you saw Pat Bryant get this post route wide open.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are now starting to understand that Pat is not just in there for blocking. And I think this helps tremendously when Sean is calling plays. So you see the play action fake right here. Cortland is doing the seal block. He has the late down flat, and then you have Troutman coming over the over, and then Troy coming on the dig route. So great play action fake by Bo right here. But this is what I'd love to see right here. Number one, I want to see Pat Bryant take this a little bit higher because this defender right here falling off scares me. So I would like to see Pat Bryant take that corner route higher and create more spacing right here to make an easier throw. You see this defender right here, his eyes start to peel off. But this throw right here, one of the first completions of the game, tells me that Bo is seeing the field well, number one, but then also that's a tight window throw right there. That is a tight window throw. That is an NFL throw. Bo is also rolling out to his left as he makes this throw. So these are things that I love to see. Also, I'm not going to say that you want to have this, but you see Troy Franklin, who's last in the progression, coming wide open. So things like that, the spacing and the timing is very important. But Pat Bryant, let's take this corner route higher to create more spacing and a better lane for Bo going forward. This is also, we had deep stop routes. Troy Franklin runs a 20-yard deep stop route. This guy has incredible speed. He had 3 targets, I believe, yesterday and a couple of catches, but you just love to see his progression as a route runner. And every week he's gotten better in terms of his routes and his depth. One of the things that I struggled with because I wasn't as fast as a guy like him is always getting my depth. And depth is super important for the quarterback, the timing of the play. And Troy gets all of his depth right here on this 18-yard stop route. And you see that the defender is scared. He is getting out of there. Troy, great pocket by the offensive line. You got max protection right here. This is basically a 2-man route down the field. You got RJ coming out on the flat just in case Bo needs an outlet right here. But Troy is getting ready to come out his break. The ball is already out of Bo's hands. That is, and we've seen this throughout the year, where Bo has just been on time, on task, on target with his throws. Great pocket by the offensive line. But I love quarterbacks when they start to anticipate things, because when a quarterback anticipates a throw and the receiver is running his route the right way, the defense can't stop it.
Right.
And that's what you got a chance to see on this play right here. Bo has already released the ball. The ball is already in the air. Troy has not yet gotten out of his break, and the ball's in the air, and you got a catch right there. The defender can't do anything about that. Can't do anything about that because Bo is on time with the throw. So I focus on little things like that. Right here, this was a concerning play for me. This is the incomplete. Evan didn't catch this ball. This could have been a better thrown ball by Bo. Evan still got 2 hands on it. But why didn't he throw this ball earlier? So you can't see Bo in the picture right now, but Evan should get the ball right now.
Yep.
Like, what are we waiting on? So like I said, I don't play quarterback. I've never sat in a quarterback meeting room just with the QBs, but I've played with some great quarterbacks. Throw this right now. Throw it right now. Like, what are we waiting on? These are things when we talk about that next tier of offense or that next evolution of offense. If you give Evan the ball right here, not saying that he can score,
I mean,
but that's an explosive play with the way that he runs with the ball. So that's what I want to see.
Totally. I mean, you block her out in front of him, it's going to wind up
all this green grass.
Does he wind up getting a stiff arm on that safety? It's possible. At the very least, you expect him into the red zone.
Yeah, for sure. I think he gets the ball into this area right here. If he gets the ball right then and right now, Bo holds on to the ball a little bit more on this play, and it ends up being an incomplete pass. So we want to see that changed. This is the touchdown court, which was just an incredible throw. I saw RK tweet out that, if Patrick Mahomes had made this throw, they'd be making a Madden commercial or something like that about it. But you got an out route right here by Troy Franklin. You got a little release by Pat Bryant. You got a sit route, and then you got a backside dig right here by Court. Love that Bo goes through through his progressions. Actually, you got a sit route. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
You got a sit route over the ball right here, which gets his eyes right here, his eyes over here, and this guy, his eyes right here. This elite play calling and design by Sean Payton. Good job by Pat Bryant right here, taking this safety out of it, leaves all of this space right here. open for Cortland Sutton. I think as when we do the inside scoop, it's good for you guys to all understand the importance of spacing and timing. Everybody has a job to do on every single play. Even this guy right here running the flat. That's very important. Bo climbs up in the pocket. He's getting tackled right now, and the ball has been released into the air. But Cortland is coming quarterback friendly, which quarterback friendly means you're coming flat down the line right here. Because if you drift upfield away from the ball, that's when those defenders undercut and intercept the ball. Cortland does a great job, catches the touchdown right here. They always talk about in the red zone, you want it either below the belt, you want a low throw, or you want face mask or higher. That ball is right there on Cortland's face mask as Bo was falling to the ground. You love to see that touchdown.
I mean, it's just so good. It's an unbelievable throw. That's the stuff that makes a quarterback special. And I think going big picture all the way back to draft day, one of the concerns with Bo is like, okay, can he be special? And in the deep dive you do after the Broncos draft him, when you really go through and watch every play, what he can do in the red zone off script, I don't even know what to call a play like that. Just like a vibes play almost. Like somehow finding a way to get the ball to the receiver. That can be the thing that takes the quarterback from like, oh, he's pretty good, like he's manageable, game manager, whatever, to special in the red zone also. Red zones and third downs, bang. All of a sudden, that's a different tier of guy.
It's super impressive to just watch him make that throw also because as he's getting pressure, he's still able to know the concept of the play and where everybody is.
Right.
And to have that feel. So that's what you love to see as a fan watching this. And even as Sean Payton or Davis Webb is that like, okay, he was getting pressure in his face, was able to climb the pocket, was getting sacked, let the ball go, and still knew where his receivers were, and especially knew where his main receiver was, Cortland, in the end zone, and able to find a touchdown. So you love to score touchdowns, especially in the red zone, and I think Bo's done a great job of that all year.
Knows where the defenders are, too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
You have a short motion right here, and they're running double dig right here with a post. This is 3rd and 8 right here. Now, as a receiver, Pat Bryant runs a really good route right here, and you want the ball. We were talking about this on the watch along, but sometimes if it's not clear for Bo, don't make the throw, use your legs, and extend the drive. Oops. And right here, Pat Bryant is coming open. Right here. This is what you love to see. Pat Bryant runs a great route. He's coming flat out of his break. The pocket is great and decent. You want to see Bo throw that ball right now.
Yep.
That is the next progression of his game, I believe. Sean Payton, I thought he did a great job calling these plays.
It's almost so open right there that
it scares you a little bit.
Feels like there should be another defender. Like, how is there one defender on that half of the field? And he's breaking out. Like, it just doesn't make much sense.
Just the blitz and the coverage that they're running right here. But Pat Bryant, you want to see him get the ball right here, but he doesn't get the ball wide open. But what you will take is that Bo scrambles for the first down.
Yep.
So that's a double positive. We want to see Bo continue to use his legs and use his legs even more. And we got a chance to see that yesterday where he extended some drives with his legs. But also, if you're Pat Bryant, you want that ball right there. But you'll live with the result, which is a first down.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Got to give a shout out to some of our friends over at Game Time. Game Time is incredible. We all use Game Time, even when I'm not going to the game, just out of curiosity. Like that Commanders game yesterday, I was like, I wonder what tickets cost, and so I just pull it up and see exactly what you can get in for. The prices are crazy. Unfortunately for Broncos fans, or maybe fortunately, the Broncos are really, really good, and that means tickets this year are more expensive than they have been in the past. It used to be you wait right up till kickoff, and for $50 you can get into just about any game. It's a little more expensive now, but Game Time is still the answer. It's almost more important now because the prices are up so high to make sure you get the best deal. They make sure you get the best deal in a bunch of different ways. First of all, you can shop around. Occasionally I do just to check, and it's always Game Time is the cheapest. You also get their lowest price guarantee. If it's not the lowest price, they'll credit you 110% of the difference. And on top of that, purchase covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. The app is incredible. Just open it. It's a map. You get to see, it just pops up prices in different parts of the stadium so you can see exactly what all the prices are. You can take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. Also, Taco Bell. I made it to Taco Bell last night for the first time since I had my wisdom teeth out. Not gonna lie, maybe it was a little bit aggressive going to Taco Bell, given that they're like the holes in my mouth that need to be cleaned out. But that's not the point of this. The point is that the tacos, for me last night, the burritos, can't have the crunchy shells, just so good. Yeah, it's crazy how you can have all these foods that feel like they should be so similar, but they're so different. Like just different combinations of beans and the meat and the cheese. Sour cream. I love Taco Bell. And right now they're spicing things up. They've got the steak and roasted poblano rolled quesadilla. I know RK went and had one of those last night. Just a warm grilled tortilla, marinated steak, melty cheese, fire roasted poblano peppers, flavorful spicy ranch sauce. Just awesome. Not too spicy, but just great food. They also still have that Cantina chicken going, so go check that out. As the college football season winds down, you're running out of time to pick up the Buffs box. Any day now it's going to be gone. It is the best value in food. Snag that as well. Taco Bell, we love them. All right, back in the DNVR Broncos podcast presented by Bet365. We got one more play, and I think it's my favorite play.
Yeah, I think Sean was in his bag yesterday. There were some plays out there that he called where I just thought, they're just really well schemed up right here. Right where we have a double post Houston concept. So you got a post right here, and then Cortland is coming on the Houston route right here. And it was just like a 3rd and long. And you just don't expect this. The Washington and Dan Quinn, they play this 3-deep coverage. And I thought it was just super well designed. And when you talk about the spacing and timing of these plays, Sean is just an elite play caller right here. You see Cortland coming on the out and up right here. And it's just wide open, especially in this cover 3 right here. And Cortland's able to make this play. But Sean was in his bag in terms of play calling yesterday. And these are things that you want to see later on in the year, is that when Sean has a week to prepare or a couple of weeks to prepare, that means good news for the Broncos. Coming off the Raiders short week against Kansas City, he dialed up some great plays. Coming off this bye week, dialed up some great plays. And Vance Joseph talked about it in that interview with ESPN of Sean knows how to paint a picture every single week of how to win this game. And going into the playoffs, that works really well. And Sean does that every single week for these teams. Hey, what's the vision for this game to win this game? And that's what you have to do in the playoffs. And Broncos got the best head coach, one of the best head coaches to do that.
Yep. Also, not to spoil anything, Broncos legend walking around the studio at the moment. Got something cool coming up today.
Yeah. Justin Simmons will be Dave Logan. Shout out to Dave. Going to his 8th straight state championship, and he's flying back with the Broncos right now and can't tape the show. So I reached out to Justin to see if he wanted to do it, and Justin just got to the studio. So we'll be hearing from Justin Simmons on what he thought about last night, and it'll be good to spend 45 minutes with him just to see what he thinks. Yeah, no, it's going to be awesome. So stay tuned for that. All right, couple more minutes here. I got a question for you. Let's do it. We just got the first round of Pro Bowl voting back. Yep. 2 Broncos lead their positions in Pro Bowl votes. Can you guess who the 2 first-place Broncos are? Lutz. Nope. Really? Nope. Quinn Miners. He's currently 5th. They lead their position. Yep, they're 2 guys who lead. Benito's 2nd. Pat Surtain? Not actually in the top 10. Oh, Hufanga. Nope. What? Nope. Marvin Mims? 9th as a returner. 2 lead, and it's not Lutz. Benito's 2nd. Who would be the first? Not PS2. It's not PS2. Riley Moss. Nope. Mitchell Fraboni, the long snapper, is 8th. You've got Jonathan Cooper, also 8th. Devin Key, special teamer, 8th. Zach Allen is 1st among defensive linemen.
And the punter.
Crawshaw.
Jeremy Crawshaw is first among all punters in Pro Bowl votes.
Wow. Nice.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
I mean, he has some like boomers in there, but interesting.
I would have never thought that.
No, I would no. I was hoping you could get
Shout out
Zach
to Crawshaw. And Crawshaw and we both wore 16. So
yeah, right. Your number 16 belongs in a Pro Bowl.
As a punter.
Yeah. All right. Before we get out of here, do you think? Obviously, big game tonight for the Broncos. If the Giants can knock off the Patriots, the Broncos would be in first place throughout this week. It would actually remain in first place until they lose a game, which is kind of crazy to think about. If they lose tonight, the Giants lose tonight, Patriots win. Obviously, Patriots jump in front. Do the Giants have any chance of beating the Patriots?
No.
No.
Is it in New York?
No.
Oh, it's in New York.
Unfortunately, no. Yeah, if it was,
no.
That's kind of where I'm at. And so I've got a friend who's a Patriots fan. We watched the last Patriots game against the Bengals when we were up in Missoula. And the Patriots did all they could to lose those Bengals, the pre-Joe Burrow Bengals. And they're not a perfect football team, but similar to the Broncos.
They might have peaked too early.
They might have, honestly. They might have. I'm curious to see how this all goes.
And their schedule is not that hard.
Right. The rest of the way in particular, I guess they have the two games, the Bills and the Ravens, which will be tough.
They have to
Other
play
than
the Bills twice.
Giants, Jets,
No, they
and
already
Dolphins.
beat the Bills.
Yeah, already beat them once. 3 automatic wins and 2 tough
That
games.
next Bills game is going to tell me a lot about them.
I think so too.
Because now you're like, you put the Bills on notice. You beat them already. You want to completely win the division.
Right.
That'll show me a lot.
Absolutely.
So we'll see. I don't remember your take from yesterday, but do you want the Broncos? Oh yeah, you said you don't want the Broncos to lose. I kind of want them to lose one game before the playoffs. I don't want to just be riding a 14-game win streak all the way in. How do you feel about that?
You got to win. Like I in hindsight, it might turn into like a blessing in disguise. Like, okay, they lose the streak, whatever. But any given game, I'm going into it thinking, win this one, and then you'll hit the next one, win this one. So I still think best case scenario is you win out. And I think in order to win out, obviously you've got some tough games left. Packers are a tough game. Then you've got the Jags, who are currently leading their division. Whatever you may think of them. The Chiefs, obviously tough. Chargers are going to be tough. If you come out of this whole stretch with wins over those, I think those evolutions that we've been talking about in terms of the offense, they have to come to fruition in order for that to happen. And so I just think that so many good things would have to be happening in order for you to keep winning all of these games. Just win. And if they happen to lose, it probably isn't the end of the world, but just go out there and win some football games.
Yeah. All
right. One last thought is do we have any super chats? No. Should double check. Okay, cool. If anything peaked too soon, the more I think about it, the defense may have peaked too soon.
No.
We only have 1 minute, so we probably can't dig too deep into this.
I don't think the defense peaked too soon, and also they haven't been healthy. I feel like that was their first real healthy game with everybody out there last night. So I think they'll only get better. And it was good to see Greenlaw get a pick.
Yeah, that was good. That was good to see him get a pick. You wonder if getting everybody back does mean that there is like a little bit of an acclimation.
For sure.
Especially like the Greenlaw Singleton duo. We haven't seen a lot of that yet. You get Jonah Ellis back. How does that kind of change the edge rush rotation? Do you start seeing the edge set a little bit better on those long drives where you're subbing guys out? Interesting stuff with the drive where they sub Chris Abrams-Drain in for Riley Moss. It doesn't mean that there's like a change coming or anything, but it does mean that, there's
definitely not a change.
They want him fresh.
Yeah,
no.
They want him fresh, but if Chris Abrams-Drain went in there for Riley, that doesn't mean the play is about to just be crazy better, and he's also going to get targeted a ton.
Totally.
A ton.
Yeah. More than Riley, probably.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, but it does mean that they think that their fourth corner is really good, which means if your third corner has a dip at some point, then that could be a card you play. I don't think that will ever come up, but it is interesting. That's probably the one spot on the defense where you could see them there's the potential for a move to be made. Mostly because, that defensive front, everything rotates anyway. There's really no big decisions to be made.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to do it for today. You've got to go tape your other show, which should be awesome. Again, stay tuned. Be on the lookout for that. Justin Simmons.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. We'll be back tomorrow morning to talk more Broncos.
God.
We all silly like the mayor.